Who was the most dangerous spy of World War II? A highly trained British officer? A fearless French resistance fighter? Or an American woman with a wooden leg who defied all odds, outmaneuvered the Gestapo, and became one of the war's most elusive operatives? How did a determined diplomat-turned-secret agent infiltrate Nazi-occupied France, ignite a vast underground network, and help dismantle Hitler's war machine despite being hunted at every turn? This is the story of Virginia Hall, the fearless spy who refused to be stopped. With courage, cunning, and sheer resilience, she became Hitler's most wanted woman and changed history forever. Born on April 6, 1906 in Baltimore, Maryland, Virginia Hall grew up in a wealthy and privileged family. Her parents, Edwin Lee and Barbara Hall, expected her to follow the conventional path of a high society woman, marry well, host extravagant parties, and raise children. But Virginia had other plans. From a young age, she was fiercely independent and adventurous, declaring in her high school yearbook that she must have her liberty. She excelled in languages and had an insatiable curiosity for the world beyond Baltimore. After attending Radcliffe College and Barnard College, she set her sights on a career in diplomacy, a field dominated by men. Determined to break barriers, she moved to Europe, studying in Paris and Vienna, immersing herself in languages and cultures that would later prove invaluable. But fate had other plans. In 1933, Virginia Hall was a young woman full of ambition, working as a clerk at the American Embassy in Turkey. She had dreams of a diplomatic career, of traveling the world, making a difference, and serving her country. But fate had other plans. One autumn day, she joined a group of friends on a hunting trip in the Turkish countryside. The air was crisp, the sun warm, and Virginia, an adventurous spirit, relished the challenge of the outdoors. As she climbed over a fence, her shotgun slipped from her grasp. In a tragic instant, it discharged. The bullet tore into her left foot, shattering bones and leaving her in excruciating pain. Rushed to a local hospital, Virginia faced a grim reality. In 1933, antibiotics were not yet available, and infection spread rapidly through her wounded leg. Doctors fought to save it, but gangrene set in. There was only one option left: amputation. On Christmas Day, Virginia woke up to find her leg gone, cut off just below the knee. For many, such a loss would have meant the end of an active life. It might have led to bitterness, retreat, or despair, but not for Virginia. She refused to be defined by her injury. Determined to regain control, she was fitted with a wooden prosthetic leg, which she wryly named Cuthbert. Step by painful step, she relearned how to walk, refusing to let her new reality slow her down. But when she reapplied to the U.S. Foreign Service, eager to continue her diplomatic career, she was rejected not because she was a woman, but because of her disability. It was a crushing blow. Yet Virginia was not the kind to accept defeat. If the U.S. government would not let her serve as a diplomat, she would find another way to make her mark on the world. And soon, she would prove that even on one leg, she could outrun, outfight, and outwit some of the most dangerous men in history. By 1940, Europe was in chaos. Hitler's relentless expansion had already consumed Poland, and now France teetered on the edge of collapse. German tanks rumbled through the countryside, smashing through defenses with terrifying speed. The once vibrant streets of Paris braced for occupation as the Nazi war machine advanced like an unstoppable storm. Virginia Hall, now living in the French capital, watched in horror as her beloved France crumbled. But she was not one to sit idly by. Determined to contribute to the fight, Virginia volunteered as an ambulance driver with the French army. It was grueling, perilous work. She navigated bomb-ravaged roads, dodging falling debris and strafing enemy planes, all while transporting wounded soldiers to safety. Sometimes the makeshift hospitals she delivered them to were bombed before she even had a chance to turn back. Sleep was scarce, fear was constant, but Virginia refused to leave the battlefield. Then the unthinkable happened. France fell. The once mighty nation surrendered, and the Nazi flag flew over Paris. Virginia had no choice but to flee. She escaped across the Channel, landing in Britain, a country that had yet to fall but knew it was only a matter of time before Hitler turned his eyes towards London. It was there, in the heart of wartime Britain, that Virginia's true calling emerged. She crossed paths with British intelligence, specifically the Special Operations Executive (SOE), Winston Churchill's secretive army of saboteurs and spies. The SOE was desperate for operatives who could blend into occupied France, gather intelligence, and organize resistance movements. Virginia, with her near-native fluency in French, deep understanding of the terrain, and fearless determination, was an ideal candidate. She wasn't just another recruit, she was about to become one of the most dangerous spies of World War II. In August 1941, Virginia Hall slipped into Vichy, France under the guise of an American journalist for the New York Post. Her real mission? To build a network of resistance fighters, sabotage German operations, and smuggle vital intelligence back to Britain. Operating in Lyon, she quickly gained a reputation as the Limping Lady. Despite the limitations of her prosthetic leg, she moved swiftly and strategically, recruiting spies, coordinating supply drops, and orchestrating daring escapes for downed Allied pilots. Her success did not go unnoticed. The Gestapo, led by the notorious Klaus Barbie, put her at the top of their most wanted list. Posters with her likeness appeared on every street corner. The most dangerous Allied spy in France, the Nazis called her, and they would stop at nothing to capture her. With the Gestapo closing in, Virginia had no choice but to flee. But escaping Nazi-occupied France was no small feat, especially for a woman with a wooden leg. In the dead of winter, she embarked on a harrowing journey across the Pyrenees Mountains, trekking through deep snow and treacherous terrain. With every painful step, Cuthbert became more of a burden. At one point, she radioed London joking, "Cuthbert is giving me trouble." The response, "If Cuthbert is troublesome, eliminate him." Despite the agony, Virginia pressed on. After days of relentless marching, she reached Spain, where she was arrested for entering the country illegally. But her imprisonment was short-lived. The British government intervened, and soon she was back in London, ready to fight again. Most spies would have retired after such a close call. Not Virginia. By 1943, the U.S. had entered the war, and newly formed Office of Strategic Services, OSS, the precursor to the CIA, recruited her for a new mission. This time, she would return to France deeper undercover than ever before. Disguising herself as an elderly milkmaid, she changed her appearance, dyed her hair gray, and even altered her gait to disguise her limp. Operating under the alias Madame Bridget, she traveled the countryside, training resistance fighters, organizing sabotage missions, and setting the stage for the D-Day invasion. Her networks bombed bridges, derailed trains, and disrupted German supply lines. The Nazis were desperate to find her, but she remained elusive. Even as her comrades were arrested and executed, Virginia pressed on, determined to see France free. By August 1944, the Allies had landed in Normandy, and the French resistance rose up in full force. Virginia's work had paid off. Her network played a crucial role in the liberation of France, weakening German forces ahead of the Allied advance. When Paris was finally freed, Virginia Hall remained in the shadows, her role largely unrecognized. But her contributions had not gone unnoticed by those who mattered. She was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the only civilian woman in World War II to receive the honor. After the war, she continued her intelligence work, joining the newly established CIA. Even in peacetime, her commitment to fighting tyranny never wavered. Virginia Hall was more than a spy. She was a force of nature, a woman who refused to be defined by limitations, who risked everything to fight oppression, and who outwitted one of the most ruthless regimes in history. Hitler's most wanted? Yes, but also one of history's greatest unsung heroes. Though she rarely spoke of her exploits, her legacy endures. Her story serves as a testament to the power of resilience, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to bow to tyranny. Virginia Hall never sought the spotlight, but history will never forget the woman who limped into battle and emerged victorious.